does not promise her
Bring
vote
it
and makes it pretty
back
clear
more
that
near.
you might not and probably won't get it.
Chapter 14.
And
So.
I felt like this was very well handled, and all of the talk about Claire and Tiffany after both of their conversations about this is pretty much gonna drop as the focus goes on to the Jokers.
And you know, I think that Tiffany has been playing this whole thing pretty well, but she and Christian having your conversation really, I teared up a little bit. I'm sorry, like I did because you know, he mentions later, like, I felt like it was a goodbye, you know, that she wasn't able to vote for me, to keep for me, and she
this is where I just was.
for a long time, and like I felt like she was like feeling bad about like the fact that she wasn't going to be able to give me his vote, and I was like really sad about this because it was like, oh, you could feel it.
He said Tiffany's hug, it felt more like a goodbye hug, like a I'm sorry I can't keep you hug, more than it felt like we're gonna fight to stay here hug.
Oh my gosh, tearing up now thinking about it. Like, these are the moments I live for. It was pretty, like, it was very sad. I watched it and I was like, tears coming down my face. And I'm like, oh, the poor guy. You know, I think he was just out of his element here. The game was moving too fast for the game that he was playing. Like, he was kind of just doing, like, I win comms and have some power, and, you know, Alyssa kind of will steer the strategy portion of it. And, like, there just was so much more game going on around him that, like, I think he just got overtaken, and I felt really sad.
Keep up, everyone.
Keep up, exactly. Was impressed though by Tiffany also saying like you should walk around pretty confident and hopefully to shake Sarah Beth. I thought that was an interesting you know, strategy for her to suggest to him, because like maybe then she'll start spilling some things that would make her probably look like a target for the next week, but like it was something that could have been useful to maybe get Sarah Beth to be rattled a little bit and maybe make some mistakes.
Yeah, so Tiffany also talks to Christian a little bit later in the day and says that. She says, very similar stance to Claire. I can't really guarantee you my vote, but she does like give him advice. She says like try not to dump all of your points and like information out at once, which also of course serves her interests, but also is genuinely part of her strategy, as we talked about, or at least I've talked about. That you can see that one of the ways that Tiffany manages to you know, make her point is that she doesn't have like you know, like a Travis PowerPoint presentation of like, here are my 4 points. Thank you for your time. She starts with a seed, and then she grows it and grows it and grows it, and she doesn't repeat the same things all the time either. She continues to develop them, even to the point of absurdity, as we've found. But even though it gets absurd, it's still it gives her something to talk about and maintain that level of anti this person or whatever the message is for a length of time, rather than just one point in time, which gives people the chance to like really, you know, like consume the idea and then move past it in a way, right? So it's, I think, genuine advice from her, although I don't think the advice fully translates to somebody on the block. And again, this kind of serves her interest, because if he doesn't dump all of his information at once, then there's a chance he might not dump all of the relevant information about her. So
like, was she surprised that that Frenchie told Sarah Beth?
Well, so to be fair to Alyssa, Big D immediately after this conversation, Ozza comes in. He's like, Sarah Beth's gotta go. And she's like, what do you mean? He's like, next week,
fuck, I remember
she's
this
gotta
now.
be
I
next.
hated this section.
I guess he's mad that she exposed the Butch house. But Oz is like, all right, look, you do you. I'm going for her, Alyssa. Sorry.
I mean, I'd probably go for Alyssa as well because, well, maybe not. She's kind of on her own at this point. I don't know what's the best for them, but Alyssa also tries to like corner Xavier later on the day too with this information, and like she calls it out, and he's just like he said it. He's like, oh, I mean another lines, and he got confused with the lines that she was talking about. So I guess he's kind of like the Rolodex of like what lie do I need to tell right now? And then she just didn't say anything when she's like, I know. And he's like, like.
Can I just keep nodding and this will go away? This is the same vibe I got from Derek when Kristen was like, Sarah Beth told you she did, didn't she? Like, Derek, like, because it's the sort of thing, like, Kristen was about to go into the bathroom, and like, he'd opened the door, he'd taken a step in, and so Derek was like, I think I can get away with not saying anything. But then Kristen stops and keeps looking at him. Like, didn't she? He's like, are you still about to go? Can I still not? Can I just not say anything here, please? Can you just leave?
Go to the bathroom.
Yeah. Sitting on the porcelain.
Yeah, I hate this because like it doesn't actually tell you what you're supposed to be doing.
I was waiting for him to show up. What's his name? Something of the
Lord of Trees.
So that's been a while
We do
though.
have a couple of more.
So I remember I died here a
as
few
well,
times and I got really annoyed. You have to redo that
Kylan
previous
is
section
going
again.
to be dressed up as a donkey, I believe.
a donkey, but I couldn't figure out what that had to do with club sandwiches.
Yes, so it's a
might
donkey
lose
with
this one.
club
Yeah, I think I lost.
symbols, like the suit of cards on the outfit. It's a pretty funny one. It's got like a very narrow chef's hat, I guess, on the top of its head, and he has to make club sandwiches every time that the voice comes over and says he has to make club sandwiches.
And they're very labor intensive. Like he's actually like, the bacon. He's like frying the bacon.
That was a lot easier.
It probably takes like a good half an hour, 45 minutes.
Yeah, I'm probably just a fucking idiot.
It's the bacon that really does it, because that's the thing that takes the most amount of time and effort, and then he's gonna clean up after. Hannah was talking about later. She's like, she was talking about Claire, who has the other punishment, and they were talking about like who has it worse. And Hannah was like, yeah, well, he's gonna cook the bacon, and then he has to clean up everything afterwards, or Big D's gonna get mad at him. So,
but at least maybe Big D can have the sandwiches, or like everybody else in the house. It's like not the worst that they can eat them.
So Claire is, I don't even know what she's dressed as, like a card, I guess.
Isn't the Queen of Hearts, maybe?
Queen of, yeah, I mean, she's dressed up like but she's also got like a weird hat on. I don't know why cards have hats. But she has to go into wherever the voice tells her to go, and then just spill a bunch of cards, and then pick them up, like my audition for Rob as a podcast video.
I laughed though when
I forgot we got
at least
playable
one time when she
Pascal
was in the living
sections.
room with Xavier, and she just was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry, sir." And like I actually chuckled. I was like, "Okay, they're gonna get their footage for this to be quite humorous on the actual show."
So those are the punishments that are going to continue to go on. So we are then going to get Brittany coming in and talking with Alyssa and Christian. Brittany is going to fully pretend to be on board with Christian and Alyssa. I'm with you guys.
Shit. Actually, let's stop it for now. This is a pretty big moment.
Their own cores? They killed themselves.
How? How could this happen?
Why would they do such a thing?
I taught them everything.
would teaching them lead to something like this?
Fear.
I don't understand.
I taught the children what fear is. I felt they had to know so they wouldn't rush heedlessly into danger. But instead...
Fear destroyed them. It caused them to take their own lives.
If I knew this could happen, I never would have. A2, I need your aid. I cannot live with this heartbreak inside me. I need you. I need you to delete my memories. And if not, then I need you to kill me.
Oh, no.
Initiating hacking to cut off memory circuits. Initiating hacking to cut off memory circuits.
Pod. Pascal's memories.
Understood. Initiating memory deletion procedure.
Oh, yeah, we reset him, don't we? Yeah, I remember that.
My name is Pascal. I'm the leader of this village.
Maybe that all the memories are ones that we've seen.
You promised to read and memorize that botanical field guide, remember? That's what we're doing, right? Of course I will. You have my word. And Uncle Pascal would never lie and break his word. Thank you, A2. Thank you.
Memory deletion complete. Reset timer activated.
Pascal.
Okay. Alright, so that's chapter 14. Yeah, I don't remember any of this 9S stuff, if I'm being honest. Like, I have vague memories of, like, playing as 9S here, but I don't remember anything he does outside of, like, the tower-related things.
Looks like he's awake, Devila. Morning. Slept well, didn't you, 9S?
I'm in the resistance camp?
That's right. You've been unconscious for nearly 2 weeks. A little thank you for saving your butt would be nice.
Where's 2B?
You know that better than anyone, no? Her black box signal disappeared.
Oh.
Devila and Popola are rare android models designed for medical treatment and maintenance. Without the bunker, they are the only remaining way for Unit 9S to initiate repairs. Proposal. A word of appreciation is appropriate.
Thanks.
Yeah, there used to be lots of our models around. Apparently, we were put here to oversee some kind of large-scale system that was in place.
Apparently. What does that mean?
Apparently.
It means we don't know. All the records from that era have been deleted. Our model kind of went nutso at some point in the past. It ended badly. Most of our kind were disposed of after that. But We were spared. They used us as a sort of control group in order to ensure such a thing couldn't happen again. So yeah, we're lab rats. But at least we get to be here helping out friends. I'd like to think that we're atoning in some way for our past sins. Try not to overdo it, 9S. Try not to overdo it.
So what?
Report. Mail notification received from access point.
I think we're still good here, right? Should I just buy all these? Like, I still have so much money beyond this, so it's like, you know, why not? Okay, let's go back to the podcast. Okay, well, if the podcast would start. What the fuck? Why didn't it?
Guys, I'm
There we
voting
go.
for you. I definitely voted for you.
Fuck is
She
on?
also is going to throw
Okay.
Sarah Beth under
My
the bus.
phone's, like,
saying,
spazzing the
Sarah
fuck
Beth
out.
was telling me that I should throw the veto. What do you think that's about? They're like, oh, that confirms it. She's been planning this from the start. Like from the start, like what, she got herself nominated? Is that what you think? But that's Brittany's play, is that she wants to, continue to pretend that she is fully on board with all of with keeping Christian, and she's gonna put on her her voice acting. I thought about acting, and then I thought about Sarah Beth, and then I
What
just
is
went right to voice acting.
that?
Put on her acting chops and pretend like she's with Christian.
Now, I don't know if this is the best idea for Brittany, just because, like, I think a lot of people don't necessarily feel as though she's playing the game as hard as she actually is, and so I think that, like, with her being very convincing and very, like, Christian, we got this, we can get you the numbers, and really supporting them, when she doesn't follow through with that, I just can see Alyssa very easily blaming Brittany for lying, because it was just so obvious, and like kind of allowing them to have some faith in her, and then Alyssa stays and she didn't. So I'm not sure if it was the best to go this hard. Maybe be like, hey, you most likely have my vote, but we still have to work really hard to get everybody else. There's something like that, just to like absolve her if she doesn't go that way. But she is showing that she's better at lying than we were all expecting.
It's a very strange call, especially since, again, like, it probably does benefit her game to keep Christian. But I think you have to give the credit to Derek here, because he did such a good job of making Brittany feel included,
What are we supposed to do then?
that Brittany feels like this is her plan. She feels like this is her move, and that she is now orchestrating this blindside, and we'll get to it later, but like, she is trying to like direct the whole production here, and it's pretty funny. So Derek and Xavier are going to talk. Derek has wanted to talk to him. First of all, and again, Derek starts this conversation apologizing to Xavier, because he feels like he's done Xavier wrong, because Xavier has made Derek feel like he's done him wrong, because he says, look, I'm sorry that I told you about the thing before it happened. I didn't realize you didn't want to know.
Hey, Paul,
Because
give me a
Xavier's like,
rundown
don't
on what
tell
happened
me.
while I was
Like,
resting.
I don't want it. That puts me in a bad spot. Like, I don't want to be included with you, essentially. He's like, I didn't realize that you wouldn't want to know. I was just trying to, give you a heads up and show you that I trust you, but I guess that you didn't like that. So I'm sorry about that. And Xavier's like, yeah, it's always, we'll get past it. And Derek's like, oh, well, I want to work with you. I want to work with you, and I think that we should
Where's A2?
acknowledge that you, me, and Kylan are going to basically be,
Alright.
the
Mark the
biggest,
positions of those units on my
guy
map, will you?
threats left in the house after this. Big D is here as the fourth guy, but it's not exactly the same
Where's this?
in terms of competition threat ability. So we definitely can't lose another guy at this point. So we should all sort of recognize and acknowledge that fact. That we should not come for each other or anything like that.
Previous orders to
So one big
units
difference
would
between
be
me and
suspended.
Xavier is that I
Proposal.
want to know everything
Rendezvous
that's
with
going
resistance
on in the
forces
game, and the
confirm
fact that he
chain of command.
like is telling people like,
I don't
hey,
care
if
about
it's
chain of
something that I might
command.
not
I
like,
have
don't
one
tell
goal
me about
now.
it. I'm like,
I'm
that's
going to
so
kill
bad
every
because
last
they'll
machine.
not
And
tell
then
you, and
I'm
you'll be
going to kill
blindsided all
Ray,
over the
too.
place. It'll probably be blindsiding you out the door because like you don't want to know what's going on. I don't want to know. And it's like, well, then you're not going to be part of the plan. And so I thought that was just even bad admitting that he didn't want to know, and it wasn't in like a joking fashion at all. I really want Xavier to play the game that I want him to play. He's set up in a decent spot, like he still can salvage
one
it,
of our
but
large units?
I don't think that he can do it with this whole case.
Said
But
unit
he's too
appears
loyal
to be
and
delivering something to the giant
wants to be in a certain
facility.
scene in a certain way, and he wants to play a certain game, which is not the game that he's playing.
Xavier could so easily
What's the
get in
resource
with
it's
Derek. Derek
transporting?
X has been trying so hard because
For
of
what
work
purpose?
that Tiffany has been doing, Hannah has been doing. They've been doing so much work on Derek to make him want to approach Xavier because he didn't at first because he had no relationship with him. So he's been
For what
trying,
purpose?
and Xavier keeps pushing him away. And it's frustrating because like, okay, I get it. You're pushing away because you want him out. And there's a reason for Xavier to want Derek X out. Derek X is really good at competitions. If Derek X is gone, that's one less person to interrupt the cookout plans, and the cookout plans are really good for Xavier right now. If they make it to the final 6 and Kylan's the first out, and Xavier's in the final 5, and you got Tiffany and Big D who still want Tiffany gone, whatever, then like, you know, at that point he's a good chance he can comp his way to the end anyway and probably win. It's a good spot for him. And Derek X does kind of stand in the way of that. But Derek X is still in the house right now, Xavier, and he's doing things that you don't want him to do. So, why is he doing things you don't want him to do? Because Kylan is close to him, Kylan talks to him, and Kylan convinced him that this is a good idea. So, if Derek wants to get close to you so that you can talk to him about different ideas, maybe if you aren't able to take him out, you will be in a position to maybe influence him and hopefully also not be targeted by him because he has no relationship with you. I just feel like that's a decent call here. What's the downside?
I don't know what the downside is. Also, just like keep your enemies closer is even could be part of like the language of like
the entire tower is
here.
there?
And it's kind of like okay, you don't trust necessarily Derek X, whatever, for all the reasons you said, but like,
Or the
what
entire
if you
castle?
knew exactly what he was planning on doing so you can counter
Or it's
it
not,
in the
oh wait, this
future?
is not
Like,
even the castle. It's like a
really
new
not knowing
thing
where
that landed.
Derek X
Okay.
stands is just keeps you blind and keeps you surprised by his actions until you're out the door. Like that is what will most likely would
Is this
happen.
writing?
Just because they're
I
not
can't
really
read
working
it.
together. Even though Tiffany's putting in so much work, she had a long conversation where Derek X was like, I want the final 4 to be me,
Okay,
you,
then.
Hannah, and Claire. And then Tiffany's like, oh, but like we should pull in that should add. And he was a little hesitant. He's like, and the 6 would be Kylan, right? And so that's kind of like he wants to still obviously have Kylan
Is
in the
this
picture
entire
here. And Tiffany's
building
like,
made of
yeah, but
machines?
you'd go out as
Even
the
on the
6 or
inside?
whatever. But like, so Tiffany is
Many
bringing him to
useless
final
parts
5 with a
unrelated
person that's
machine life form functionality
hesitant
detected.
with like
The
having
reason
him
for
be part of
using
this
said
group,
parts is unknown.
and
There's no meaning
like
to
he's not
anything
even
they do.
working on that relationship, so he could be like, yes, I want him in final 5, absolutely. So it's very surprising how he's choosing to play his game with Derek X.
Yeah, Tiffany is dragging X through this game, kicking and screaming, no, I want to lie low! No, you will come with me!
She's doing that with a lot of people. Like, Oz is another person. It's like you guys are in such a good position and you haven't had to do anything. And you have people that are just like playing for you to get to final 6 and you have to do literally nothing. And you're like, want to target that person. I mean, I get it. Like, you're going to have to get Tiffany on if you want to win. But like, she's working so hard to keep you in the game. It's like, it's just frustrating. It's like, Tiffany, I know it's for the cause, but I think you might have to drop some people and play your own game at some point because like, they're not even grateful. They don't even know. Oh, sorry, I said that word. But they don't even know what's doing for them, and they don't even care.
Well, Chris, this is when Christian talks to Tiffany. Ozza talks with Derek. She lets him know she's still fully on board with getting rid of Christian, but she's not going to tell him that. Tiffany talks to Kylan, and she gives him the heads up that, hey, X really wants Derek out. And he wants Derek out because he feels like it's not fair that he's losing Christian and you haven't lost Derek. So at first I was like, oh, is she playing both Kylan and Xavier off of each other now? I thought she was like fully anti-Kylan. But no, this conversation was for Derek. She was like, you need to convince X that you don't have Derek so that Derek is safe. But the effect of this is that Kylan is now a little bit wary of X, feeling like, oh, why does X feel like he needs to take a shot at me and my people? And I don't even have Derek. Derek really is more loyal to Hannah than he is to me. So this is, potentially the seed of something here. We'll have to keep an eye on.
Definitely keep an eye on it. I think they're saying that it's a half a person. It's half a person. It's not a full person, and that's kind of what's the argument, which is true. He doesn't fully have Kylan, like not fully, because it's like timeshare with Sarah Beth. So, and I think that Kylan would tell Sarah Beth more likely before he tells Derek F about it. Or sorry, X. These names. So yeah, I do think it's maybe even less than 50% timeshare on Kylan here.
So, Christian is going to make a pitch. He gets the idea talking to Brittany, and so he ends up making a pitch to both Ozzy and Brittany that, all right, here's the deal. I need you guys to vote for me. This is what I'm going to offer you. If I win HOH next week, it's your HOH. I do whatever you want. I take all the blame for it. Nobody knows that you're the one running my HOH. It's the only thing I ask that you do. I'm not going to put up Alyssa, but anybody else, fair game. And that is my offer to you. I was like, oh, this is a good deal. Afterward, Brittany and Oz are like, interesting that he didn't include X in his list of people that he would not nominate. But it doesn't matter because we're voting that.
That's true. But you forgot that he's sweetened the deal with like music,
all the amenities. Yes.
Like it's your head of household, and I'm just gonna say like this is myself.
Yeah, and Alyssa is like kind of included in this deal where like they can have some say. Like Alyssa will not put them up on the block, but like they do not get all of the extra amenities like they do with Kristen's HOH with all the other stuff.
I mean, I think they should have gone hard and be like, Alyssa will promise you the same thing as well. Like, they should really be making every sort of play to get them on to make this vote. Like, you're going to hold back here? Like, we can bounce these checks, and Alyssa should know that we can bounce these checks. Like, promise them everything. And, who knows if you're going to actually win it or not here. Like, just keep promising and get them to have that vote. But it was really, I thought it was, they should have included Xavier because Xavier's been working so hard to not seem like he's voting out Sarah Beth, but not voting out Christian. Like, it's kind of been back and forth, but he seems to want Christian to believe that he's been loyal and all that stuff. And so I think that it would have been better for him to include Xavier just because it looks like he's just being really disloyal and he doesn't care about Xavier, and I don't think that sat well with for all the
yes, especially Ozzy was the middle school crush on Xavier.
You didn't include my dad.
Alyssa's going to talk with Hannah. She makes her pitch to Hannah saying, SB's targeting you because she pushed so hard last week to get you out. And so on and so forth. Hannah eventually says, like, look, I appreciate the pitch, but I can't go against what Derek X wants. I'm not going to do that. Alyssa understands. She's like, I get it. Alyssa says, Hannah says, like, I think you would probably do the same. Like, if Christian had wanted me out last week, he probably would have voted me out, right? So yeah, you're right. Hannah gives Alyssa some advice. She says, basically, what did Mike Boogie say to Frank in season 14? That don't let people feel the absence of your presence, or like don't let people get used to you not being around. You're bunked up with Kristen way too much. Like, we're all hanging out, and we're like, where's Kristen and Alyssa? And you guys are all together, not there. It's just not great. Also maybe you shouldn't be campaigning so hard for Kristen. Like, he's a grown man, he can campaign for himself.
Absolutely, and I'm just wondering, does Alyssa not even think that impossibility that Kristen's going to go, because why isn't she
Wow.
planning for how she's going to land if he does?
Well, I think
end
she
up
thinks her
leaving?
game's
Like,
ruined if he
needs
goes,
to
right?
fix all these relationships. You know, everybody's expecting her to campaign for Kristen, like that's her showman. But it's kind of like, you know, SB is not going to be really that happy with her for the fact that she like actively was pitching for SB to go and didn't care about that relationship. And if SB stayed, that's a big problem for Alyssa. Even if they were former kings together, like, you know, it's expected that she would be, you know, campaigning for Christian. Like, she still wanted SB gone at this point, and SB most likely is going to be staying. So she's going to have to pivot very soon.
Oh, yeah, where's this? There it is.
Well, they do, and it does say, like, I have no reason to go after you after this. I think, you know, you should make this a clean slate moving forward. Just like Johnny Mac did in season 17 when he was voted out. You know, he was voted out like first juror member, and then he came back in. He said clean slate, made it to final four. And it's just like, again, Hannah, this is what people are so worried about with you. You just keep constantly quoting previous seasons. But Big D, or Brittany, Big D, and Oz are gonna talk. So Big D had just talked to Christian, and Big D, by the way, immediately was like, "You got my vote, Christian," and said to Hannah, like, "Yeah, we're voting out Sarah Beth. She's the target, right?" And Hannah was like, "What are you talking about? Christian just went on the block. You think he's a pawn?" And he went to Claire, and he was like, "Yeah, we're voting out Christian." Like, he's just so all over the place. But he talked to Christian, and Christian was like, "I think I might be able to get Azza. I think I've got Azza. She seemed really interested in my pitch." And Big D was like, "I don't know. I don't think so."
Sounds like it's about the storm.
And so he went and told Azza that he said that, and Azza was like, "Well, that's okay, fine." He's like, "What? She doesn't have your vote." So Brittany comes in, and she had just talked to Christian, and because Christian just told her, like, "Oh, Big D doesn't think that Ozza's gonna vote for me." So she comes in hot. She's like, "Why did you tell Christian that Ozza won't vote for him?" He's like, "Because she won't." It's like, "No, this." She's like, "No, that is not how this works, Big D." She says, "Look, in order for this to work, this is the plan, okay? We need to play the yes game." This is Brittany again. She's directing this whole production right now. She says, "Here's what we're gonna do. All right, on Wednesday, we're going to pull in X, and we're going to tell him that this deal, this whole
is that it for
this whole
13?
deal that Christian offered us, did not include safety
that's
for him,
quick.
only for Alyssa, right? So we're going to pull in X, and we're going to be like, hey, we're looking out for you, X. We're looking out for you. But we have to wait until Wednesday. So, right? So we're going to wait until Wednesday. We're going to do that with X, and then we're going to, the vote's going to go, and then we're going to have X, and then it's going to, that's how it's going to work. We're going to wait until Wednesday, all right?" And I was like, all right, this is complicated. And Azza, literally, this is such a funny moment, guys.
Pod,
I'm
search for
telling
the
you.
other structure elements.
Immediately
Find those
following this
authorization
conversation,
keys
we
and
have
destroy
to
the
wait into the
tower.
room, grabs Xavier,
Fine.
runs into the
Run
storage
the
room.
search.
Oh, something I forgot to tell you about the whole plan, because she had already told him about the deal. But she said, something I forgot to tell you about this deal is that he did not mention you in the thing. Okay, so he did not mention that he
Flood
wanted
City?
to protect you in the deal that he made with us. Just so you know. It's like, Brittany just told you that she had this whole plan. And you're just like, screw Brittany. I need to be the one to tell my middle school crush that.
I know. I was like, man, she really just wants to be like, I'm protecting you, Xavier. So I'm just giving you some information.
Alright, so
here,
I'm
you know,
here.
like it's like her flirting.
I think we're going to do
This is how
something
she's
for,
flirting in the
I'll probably
house,
take a
but,
little
like,
while,
not
but
flirting,
I should be
by,
back,
like,
and
trying to
hopefully
get
we can
him
continue on here.
Funny.
Yeah, thanks for
And
watching.
so Xavier's like, so